Let's move on to censorship. And just want to remind everybody, actually, Ben was talking about this in the World Economic Forum segment. This is an important year for elections. And of course, disinformation and misinformation is a narrative that we're being told is interfering with elections globally. So here is EU Observer, just to give an idea, because I think there are about 50% of the population is now living in a country that's going to see a general election of some kind this year. More than 50 countries, including the UK, the US, Russia, India, Indonesia, El Salvador, South Africa, Mexico, Pakistan, and the EU Observer here pointing out all the various European countries that are involved in general election, presidential or parliamentary elections this year. So yesterday, Gus O'Donnell was speaking on BBC Radio 4, talking about the dangers of interference in elections. Let's have a listen to this.
Generative AI can give you fake audio and fake videos. Our 2024 election, the technology is there to do all of these fakes. A lot of people are working on technical solutions to this. There's lots of things around that might, in time, be able to sort out what's fake and what's not. But they're not there yet, and they won't be there in time for our election. I'd like to think that the BBC, as the public service broadcaster, is someone, and BBC Verify is going that way. I'd like to think they will play a crucial role more than ever. And I think, really importantly, doing this in a completely impartial way, just saying, is it a fake? Not is it a fake that affects this party or that party, but is it a fake? I think that's got to be absolutely crucial. I think the companies really do need to up their game. All the tech companies need to up their game in terms of trying to make sure that they're not disseminating fakes. And I mean, I think you're seeing that from all of them, apart from one, which is going in the opposite direction, which is Twitter, now X. I think that's a real problem. And I think I would be very, very nervous about believing stuff that's on that.
So, of course, that's Gus O'Donnell, former head of the civil service under Tony Blair, otherwise known as God. And he's talking about the two main features that the World Economic Forum, just by coincidence, is talking about. Generative AI, that's AI that's used to generate images and videos. And he's talking about misinformation, disinformation, and trust. So let's just look at a piece of generative AI well, you can make up your mind about whether this would fool you or not.
My fellow Americans, today you may be waiting for the highly anticipated Epstein client list to be released. So while I know you may see what appears to be my name on the list, I'd like to argue that I did not have sexual relations with those children on that island. Would it even count, though? It wasn't in the United States. Also, if you add up their ages, I'm sure it was above 18. Jeff told me since it was outside of the jurisdiction.
Bill, what the hell are you doing?
No, Hillary, I'm not confessing.
You idiot. Do I always have to clean up your mess?
What are you doing? What? No, wait. Please don't hurt the cameraman. He had nothing to do with this. No, Hillary, that was my friend. He wasn't a witness.
Right, so that's a little bit lighthearted, and hopefully that put a smile on everybody's face. But the point is that that's kind of the standard of generative AI at the moment. Is anybody really going to be, fooled by that? I don't think so. I think the risks of generative AI with respect to this year's elections, at the very least, if not for the next 10 years, are completely overstated, and the whole thing is ridiculous. But nonetheless, this is becoming the big censorship issue of the day: election interference and how we prevent fake information appearing on social media and so on. So, in order to solve this problem, of course, we've seen various censorship legislation coming out right around the world, UK, EU, even in the United States to some degree. But Ofcom isn't waiting around. They are starting to recruit, or at least they're trying to recruit. So let's just bring up the recruitment page. The one thing they're looking for is a market intelligence manager for online safety, but there's a whole raft of jobs here. And Ofcom have said that they are looking to recruit from the big tech companies. So they're hoping to poach some suitable people from big tech companies in order to try to increase their standards within their organization in terms of their ability to deal with so-called fake news on the internet. The unfortunate thing is that Michelle Donnellan was speaking to the Select Committee before Christmas, basically saying we were struggling to recruit from big tech because of the salaries that are available in big tech, and they can't really compete. But Ofcom, it's quite interesting, are behaving very similarly to the MHRA in the sense that they are attempting to become the global regulator. So this is a press release from yesterday, working globally to protect people on video sharing platforms. They're talking about TikTok and various other video sharing platforms. And they are working very, very closely with regulators globally. By globally, they mean in the West mainly. But in the meantime, creators, parents, public and law enforcers are going to be able to help shape the future of UK pornography regulation. This again is Ofcom and the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport and so on involved in this public consultation. So what are they saying? Here is the public consultation if you want to go to find it. It's entitled Pornography Regulation, Legislation and Enforcement. And they're inviting insights to strengthen evidence base and inform the final recommendations of the Independent Pornography Review. And the question is, what is this actually about? Well, of course, it's about two things. One is the media bill, which is going through Parliament at the moment. And that is going to produce more regulation and more censorship, particularly for the online video sharing platforms. And the other is digital ID, because right at the heart of this is the notion that we've got to protect children from accessing pornography, and therefore the porn sites are going to be the first sites that are going to have to require age verification, and digital ID is part of that. But the government's not waiting for this. They're pushing forward with digital ID already, and this is one digital ID provider, Yoti, that the government uses whenever they want people that are accessing various government functions to use. So you basically upload your paper ID, whether it be a driving license or any other form of photographic ID, to Yoti, and Yoti becomes the source of authority for the UK government and digital ID. This is part and parcel of this whole censorship regime as well. But as with the EU, then, we are now bringing in some digital competition, digital markets legislation. So this is an overview of the Competition and Markets Authority's provisional approach to implement the new digital markets competition regime. And let's just look at what they're talking about here. They want to prevent what they're calling SMS firms. These are companies which are considered to be significant in digital realm, for example, Google and Facebook and these types of companies, SMS firms from preferencing their own products and services, or by making them provide competitors with greater access to data and functionality. And here's the other thing that they want to do. They want to require these firms to allow the products and services of other firms to work with their own. Now, of course, at the back of this is encryption, and some of the encryption providers in terms of chat and so on, like WhatsApp, are basically saying, well, hold on, if we're required to interoperate with other chat facilities, we're going to have to provide some kind of backdoor to allow these messages to transfer between the various services. And of course, that's part and parcel of what this is all about. So an increasing regulatory burden with respect to censorship, but at the heart of it, generative AI, election interference, trust, all the features that you're seeing at the World Economic Forum.